Hey, everybody, this is Jimmy. Welcome back to Meet the Candidate series. We are so glad you are joining us today. We are having so much fun talking to all these candidates. And today we really have a special treat. Denise Simmons is a lifelong Cambridge resident, a mother, a grandmother, a small business owner, a member of the LGBTQ plus community, a former mayor, and she is currently serving her 10th term on the Cambridge City Council. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome the one, the only, Denise Simmons. Welcome, Denise.
Thanks, Jimmy. That was a pretty awesome introduction. I don't know if I have to say anything else, but can I have your number one vote on November? So thank you for that. First of all, I want to apologize a little bit for my casual attire. We've been out knocking doors, and this is sort of my door knocking, walking, get to the votes attire. So, but it also is my signature. Cambridge is my hometown, which is what you said when you did the intro. Cambridge is my hometown. I'm a lifelong resident. So again, I apologize for the relaxed attire, but we don't have that many days, and we have to knock as many doors, make as many phone calls, and talk to as many people as we can before Tuesday, November 2nd. But it's a pleasure to be with you.
It's a pleasure to be with you too, Denise. And your attire, Denise, is perfect.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Perfect. It's the perfect candidate attire. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for all of your service over the last 10 terms with Cambridge City Council. And thank you for running again. I must ask you, Denise, I ask everybody, why are you running this term and what do you hope to accomplish?
Well, first of all, I love the job. You said I was a lifelong Cambridge resident. I could have left Cambridge so many times. I have relatives all across the US, and they're always saying, why don't you come here? But this is where my heart is. This is my hometown. I love this city. I love working for the citizens. And there's so much to get done. When you talk about what would you like to do, it's sort of continue the work that I've already started. I came to the city council to give people a voice on the council. The regular citizen, the folks that don't know to show up, to call up, now to email, just the regular citizens, as well as other folks that live in the city of Cambridge. But we have to be very careful and cautious. And the hallmark of my service has always been who's not in the room and is their voices being heard? And I really make that the hallmark of what I do. Let me give you an example. As you mentioned, I was the mayor. I've been the mayor twice. But the very first time I was mayor, the very first thing I did was I took the mayor's office and opened it up and made the room that had been the mayor's office, the parlor, a community space. And I always said to everyone that came in, this is your space. You belong here. You come anytime you want. The idea behind that was to let people know that City Hall belonged to them, not to us, the elected officials or the city manager or the staff. It belongs to the people. And that's the hallmark again of my service. Allowing people, letting people know, inviting them in, engaging them on all levels to make sure their voices have been heard. I always say I'm a politician and an advocate because the policies that we develop for our citizens, if we don't advocate and if we don't empower them, and most importantly, if we don't give them access, then those policies and practices will not do the job they're meant to do.
Right.
So I'm
Denise,
most proud of doing that.
right. And in terms of your the 10 terms that you've served and the passion that you have for the people, because that's very clear. And I think that's something that is really evident when I've seen you in action over the years. What are you most proud of over the last 10 terms? And what would you like to try to do in the next term if you were so fortunate to be reelected? What would you like to do maybe to ramp up what we've already done? So what are you proud of and what would you like to do more?
Let's be very positive. So when I get elected, because of the number one vote that those who are watching, I'm hoping I'm going to continue, first of all, working on housing. Housing is extraordinarily important. There are 20,000 people sitting on the CHA list alone, waiting for housing. The average wait is 2.5 years. So I want to continue of being able to fund, build, promote affordable housing across the city for those people that want to be in Cambridge, to also get people in Cambridge back that were in Cambridge back to Cambridge because so many people have had to leave because it's so expensive. So
Right.
certainly doing that.
Quick question, Denise. Quick
Yeah.
question. In the housing camps in the city, I know there's different coalitions. Which coalition do you fall into? Who has endorsed you? Which group?
Oh, I'm endorsed by A Better Cambridge. And let me tell you why. A Better Cambridge is just that they're working for a better Cambridge. They get the importance of affordable housing for all. They, with the other members of the council that they endorsed, got the affordable housing overlay voted, and that has brought hundreds of units into the market just since it was adopted back in January, just to say how effective that it's been. So continuing, I'm very proud to have their endorsement and continuing to have that. The endorsement of individuals that say, Denise, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be housed. Because it's not only do you have to work to make housing available, you have to make sure people know about that housing that's available.
Mm-hmm. Great. And so you continue. So the housing, number one of the most important things. What else are you most proud of, and what else would you like to take to the next level?
I came to the city working on issues of equity and fairness. So I want to continue doing that, equity and fairness, particularly the pay equity for women, fair pay for those people that are kind of working at a lower wage to make sure that wage gets up so they can have what I call a living wage. But the single most important issue, why I want to stay on the council, is bringing on the next city manager. The next city manager is going to be extraordinarily important, her or him, because we've never had a woman and we've never had a person of color, Black, Brown, Latina, as our city manager. That's going to be the single most important issue because of the kind of government we have. So I'm leading that work right now, and I want to be on the council to see it through.
Mm-hmm. And what would you like in the next city councilor? The next city manager in terms of, what would you like? What kind of a role would you like them to play, regardless of their, background or gender or race? What would you like them to do?
Well, next city manager has to be committed to affordable housing. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This person has to be, her or him, has to be committed to equal access and equal opportunity for all, to making sure all voices are heard. The next city manager has to be committed to making sure our city streets are safe. The next city manager has to work on the rat and rodent problem that we have that's crazy. The next city manager has to be willing to make sure that we have an environment that is a just and fair environment for all our citizens. Our next city manager has to support small and local businesses, just to name a few.
Right. So they got to be really hands-on. And does it help, do you think, to have a city manager that, lived in the city or grew up in the city, or is that not necessarily, doesn't have to be part of the equation?
It doesn't hurt. The last 3 city managers came through Cambridge. Louis DePasquale is currently and has been a Cambridge resident. Rich Rossi grew up in Cambridge. Bob Healy grew up in Cambridge. It's certainly not an impediment. Yeah. To have someone that knows Cambridge, and so that learning curve you don't have.
Yeah.
But I want the best candidate wherever they come from.
Right. Growing up in Cambridge yourself, it must have given you an advantage to be in the council where you know where the streets are, you know the people, you know the neighbors. There's
something to be said for being a long time Cambridge resident. You know the people, you know the shop owners, you've gone to school with some of the folks, you've gone to their weddings, you've gone to some of their funerals, you've held their hands on those bad days and you've applauded them on the good days. And that has been an extraordinary plus for me as someone who grew up here.
Great. Tell me, so there's housing, the city manager issue. What else is on your agenda for a next term?
I'm a small business owner, so supporting small businesses is very, very important to me. We are the blood, the life stream of our city. We bring life to our sidewalks and our cityscape. And so I want to continue to be a force behind local and small businesses. One of the things I did when I first came to the council was start this initiative called Buy Cambridge, BUY. And the idea was the city in particular, but others in general, should, before they buy services outside, goods and services outside of Cambridge, that they would come to Cambridge and buy here first. So I want to continue to support our small business community. Great. And one of the things I'm very proud of is I urged the city manager, and he did this, which was he launched a Black and Brown Business Advisory Committee.
Mhm. And how is that working out? And is there more that you would like to do with the Black and Brown community in the
Well,
city?
again, the Black and Brown community really, really suffered in the pandemic.
Mhm.
Although we did an extraordinary job with our PPE programs and the Mayor's Relief Program, the Black and Brown community really, really suffered. We had to do so much more hand-holding to make sure people got access to that money. So this is what I would say as we close out this conversation. I'm a person that's tried, tested, and been found true. I have proven leadership with proven results. And what I really want to do is I want to go back to the city council and continue advocating for the citizens and the residents of Cambridge. And I can't do that without your number one vote. So, Jimmy, thank you for inviting me. For those that might listen in, I truly want to ask you for your number one vote. If you've already voted, I hope you voted for me number one. And if you're on your way, I hope you will give me your number one as someone who will work with you and for you.
Denise, thank you so much for being here. Now, where can people find you if they want to make a large contribution or even a small contribution, or they might want to knock on doors with you? Where do they find you?
They go to denisesimmons.com and they can sign up to volunteer, they can donate, they can come and participate in our phone banks and our standouts. We work hard, but we have a good time as we do it. So please come and join us.
Well, great to see you again, Denise. Continued success. I will see you out on the campaign trail. Stay safe, stay strong, and good luck.
Thanks, Jimmy, and thanks for this opportunity. It's been fun and a privilege.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You're very welcome.